So I've decided I'm going to do a little series on my restore path with my Amiga A500 Plus that I bought maybe 2 years ago from eBay. It's not functioning. There's lots of little issues. I have already removed the battery, the RTC battery, purely because it was already leaking. And when you get to have a look at the board, you'll see that there's a lot of remnants of that. So there is leakage. Fat Agnes has definitely got some work needed. I've pulled it already, but I'm going to just show you inside in a minute. So that's something that needs cleaning up. I'm also going to look at replacing all of the capacitors, although none of them seem to have burst, just as a precaution, and everybody that restores these things says that that's a good thing to do. So that's what I'm going to do. So it's going to be a number of videos throughout the series, just basically cleaning it up, maybe putting in some mods, maybe a Go Tech or a Go Drive, cleaning the disk drive, and to be honest with you, taking advice from anybody. So if there's anybody out there that's got some thought patterns about what I should do, etc., then I will. The board itself is a A500 Plus revision 8A.1, so an 8A.1 revision. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to download a schematic and look at the different capacitors that are required. You can buy them in kit form, but I just think it's probably a costly way of doing it. So I will be checking that out, because there's people in Ireland and people in Italy that do these kits for around about 15 quid. But I'm sure that from CPC Farnell in the UK or somebody similar, I may well be able to pick up the individual ones needed, because there seems to be multiples of the same one. Somebody else has mentioned that they've uprated the voltage on the capacitors as well. So I think some of the capacitors are 16 volt and they've taken them up to 35 or something like that. I can have a good read of that. But yeah, so this is just really an introduction to what I'm going to do. Obviously, I've removed it from the case itself. Didn't think it was necessary for me to do a video on taking a PCB board out of an Amiga case, so I haven't done that. But let's have a quick look at this Fat Agnes, just so you can see. I'm going to zoom down in with my microscope just so you can have a proper look. Okay, so this is the Fat Agnes chip. It's an 8375 version, but you can already see the discoloration around the edging of the chip and the chip holder. So I'm just going to use my tool just to pop that back out a minute. Okay, and then it becomes really clear that there is a massive issue with, well, I could call it discoloration, but at the end of the day, it's water damage or battery acid damage is one or the other. It may well be that I will have to replace the holder itself. The chip, if I come in a little bit, I will try and focus that as best I can. There we go. So again, on the chip, you can see that it's got this discoloration, water damage, acid damage, whatever you want to call it, on most of the sides. But again, I think that's going to be cleanable. Again, if I have to replace the chip, then that would be a discussion, and obviously a look up on the internet to see what I can find. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that back in just so as it's out of the way. Okay, I'm not going to push it down hard, just enough to secure it in. That's the thought pattern. And as I said, the other chips, sorry, out of focus. Not the other chips, the other capacitors. I mean, if you look at the tops of most of them, they seem to be fine. Let's go up there. Right, there we go. So the tops do seem to be okay in most instances. In fact, I haven't found one that's broken as yet. But my thought pattern is to go through each number. So we've got a C812, so capacitor 821 or component 821. and then have a look at see what that is in the manual. It's in the service manual, so it's 324, and then get an idea of what quantities I need of each one, and then take it from there. So that'd be the next thing I'm going to do. It's just so again, a couple of little things I've also found. I'm not going to zoom back in with a microscope, but there's a little bit of discoloration here on this chip and on this one. So again, a little bit of the green that is maybe coming. If I haven't mentioned it already, I'm obviously going to be replacing the battery. I'm not going to use the Varta type that comes with it originally. I'm going to use a converter. You can get converted very cheap on eBay, a couple of 5-6 quid, something like that. So I should be replacing that with those. I'm not sure yet. Again, you can easily take these off. Again, put them into sockets just for ease of use. You can see some of the larger chips, they're already in sockets, but the smaller ones generally are not. I'm not going to mess about with the RAM down here because that all looks fine. Looked at the coloration, doesn't seem to be any issue with any discoloration or damage there. It just seems to be these two. I'm not sure about the two below. No, they look fine. So these two look fine. It's these two, a little bit of discoloration here and here, and it's tiny. It's probably on 1 or 2 pins max. So it might even be that I leave them in situ and just get. Okay, as I said earlier, I counted physically 17 capacitors on the board, and obviously on the document here I only counted, I think it was 14. However, also the bottom line here is referring to tantalum style capacitor, so it's not part of it. So I've gone over the board, I've marked off each individual capacitor based on its number. And then I found that actually there are 4 additional capacitors on the board that are not listed on this particular document. Now each one of those capacitors, 812, 813, 814 and 815, they are all 100 UF, 16 volt 100 UF. So what I've done then is I've done a quick rundown of taking the information from this sheet and then adding obviously the 4 that were missing. So originally it was 2 capacitors that were 16 volt 100 UF. Obviously I've added those 4 to give it you 6, but if you see here, then we've got the 17 capacitors that are here. So literally that's the list of capacitors that I've got to get. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to do a quick search, and I'm going to see how much I can get these capacitors for. Now it might be I can buy them in packs of 10, or maybe in in individual ones, because it is something that I'm looking to do long term for anybody else that wants this done. So accumulate maybe to make some money. But that's what I'm going to look at. I'm going to go with the values that are here, and then I'm going to do a bit of investigating work to find out whether these can be increased. Maybe the 35 volts can go up to 50 volts, the 16 volt up to 25 volt, and then maybe the 10 volt also 25 volt. I'm going to be honest, I don't know enough about it to know whether that is an option or not. But again, any comment, any help in the comments would be great, just to take me on that journey. So let's go and do a bit of pricing and then see what we come back with. Okay, so this is a rundown of what I've done in CPC, so for the UK, so CPC Farnell as it's known. And basically the cost of the capacitors as listed on the sheet, this is based on enough to do 2 Amigas because of the quantities you've got to order on some of them. So for instance, you'll find that you're buying packs of 10. This one's individuals. This is packs of 5. That's packs of 10 as well. And this one is, I think that was pack of 5. But basically I've used the exact voltages based on the information provided by the service manual. And you can see that from CPC Farnell, okay, so you've got your handling charge, and obviously in the UK we've got our 20% of VAT. So the total to be able to buy 2 packs of the capacitors to do an Amiga 500 Plus is £16.94. Now I've just double checked the place that I was looking at on eBay. They have got it listed at £8.77 for the same thing. However, there is a courier cost of £7.76. So that's for one set. So it does appear to me that the most cost-effective way to purchase these is by doing the individual components on CPC Farnell. Now, I will also say it is so easy. If you go into the capacitor area, so we go to capacitors, like so. You can actually do it by the capacitance, which is great. So for instance, if we look at one of these, so if we look at the 1000 UF, you can go down to the 1000 UF, scroll down, could have picked the hero one, but yeah. So there we go, 1000 UF. But then on top of that, you've then got the other option of doing the voltage. So we know that these are 10 volt. We then go to show the results, and then you can see, you'll notice I actually picked the, I think it was the Panasonic ones I picked. So as we have Panasonic all the way around. I mean, I can get these Rubicon ones a lot cheaper. Yeah. But do I want to do that, or do I want to do Panasonic all the way through? So that's what I've decided. I've decided to do Panasonic all the way through. But it's very easy to find it. Having said that, did I pick Panasonic? Yeah, I did. Yeah. So Panasonic. Yeah, so they're all Panasonic. So they're matching. They're good quality capacitors. So yes, you can see that's very straightforward. And again, as I said, £16.94 for that complete kit, and that's a kit of 2 lots. Well, it's 2 lots and a bit on some of them, to be able to do 2 Amigas. So I'm going to get them ordered. I'm also going to order the Amiga RTC battery, which I'll show you that now as well. Okay, so this is the Amiga lithium battery that I was referring to. So this is the Amiga lithium coin cell clock battery adapter that I was referring to. And if you look at the bottom, you can see that it's got the right pins to be able to connect it directly to the board as it is now. But then it's using a good old CR2032 battery. Doesn't leak, easier to replace, etc., etc. So I'm going to order 2 of those as well. So as again, I've got a complete battery and capacitor kit for 500. So yeah, basically that's the end of part 1. Part 2 obviously will be fitting some of this stuff. But as I said, if you'd like to put down in the comments anything you think I should look at, or something I've made a mistake on, again, specifically the cleaning of the Fat Angus chip and the socket for it, if you've got any ideas, would be greatly appreciated. So I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks once I get all of the parts and move on to the next bit. Thank you very much.